Paul, do you have a website? Yeah, like an online presence. No, you hate spiders. What? Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Code Coder. I'm Rob Fitzgerald, here to make you great and help you innovate. In this episode, we're going to configure an S3 bucket to host a static website for a fictitious company named BITBEAT. You will need to enable the Amazon S3 bucket for website hosting, and you'll need to set permissions to allow the general public to visit that website or that bucket. This is only going to take 6 steps and will be completed in less than an hour. Yep, no more countless hours looking for a missing HTML bracket or CSS colon or semicolon. Which is which? Paul, do you know? In the past, I used to teach a web production class, and we used to program the SHHS website. It was a lot of work and many hours dealing with servers, files, and hosting sites. Because of the complexity of the code, we could only let a few students actually work on the actual code because, if one thing breaks, the whole site comes tumbling down. The site was way more complex than the one we will build today. In fact, it was a dynamic website complete with databases and server-side language called ASP. It was a beautiful thing, but because of budget cuts and the fact that it was just downright cheaper to hire an outside source to manage the site, that's what we did. That's what SouthHillsHigh.com is today. It's an outside third-party company, though SouthHills.com is still ours. We still own it. But the site points to an outside source. Today, AWS is going to show us how they abstract the art of building a website by merely storing an HTML page in a bucket. Yep, a bucket. This terminology is going to start being commonplace in the web world. So let's get going and see what it's all about. So as I told you, you have to go open up our AWS Educate account through Adhesive. So I will do that, walk you through that now. So here's my bookmarks. I don't go to Educate straight. I go through Adhesive. That gives you certain privileges. Okay, and let me log out and then log back in. It seems to get stuck on this page. And then I use my Google login. And then I click on the courses, which I will go into Computer Science A today. I have both Computer Science A and Computer Science Principles in one class. All right, and remember, you are going to click on your AWS Educate, okay? This is all new to you, and it might be something that you don't feel it's not that smooth yet, and something you always remember, but you're gonna do this so many times that it'll be natural. Okay, now I land on this page here. This is my AWS Educate Ambassador page where I could see other ambassadors, what they're doing. But if you ever get on a landing page that you're not sure where you're at, always go to your AWS account. Okay, and then you'll go to this guy, and then you'll have an orange button right here. You see my starter account is no longer active. They didn't give me more money. I'm sure you guys got more money, $75 to do it. They're not giving me anything. I like to go in as the student though, or as adhesive, because I want to see what you guys have, what's available to you. Today, I'm actually going to go through my own personal AWS account because mine's broken. So anyway, go into that, click the orange button, and you want to end up on your console that looks something like, let's see, what's it look like? I thought I had mine open, but I'll have to go back. Oh, actually, here it is. Okay. So you want to go to your console, you'll end up in something like this. Okay. And I'm already there. I'm already logged in. And this is my personal site. All right, and now remember, they're talking about websites, but really they're talking about storage. And it kind of begs an explanation about what a website is. What a website is really a folder full of files. Okay, now sometimes that's too abstract for students. They don't really get websites and they don't get this file folder thing on a computer. I know Zoolander, the movie Zoolander, he thought there was actually really file folders inside the computer. Okay, so what AWS did, I think it was AWS's idea, they decided to call storage buckets. And if you think of a bucket, what could fit in a bucket, a lot of different things could fit in a bucket. Water, sand, a shovel, a crab. I don't know, a lot of things could fit in the bucket. And a website really is a bucket full of a lot of different things. Files, images, videos, a lot of different stuff could fit in this bucket. So they called it a bucket instead of a file folder. All right, and their bucket, and those people, you know, those students that are familiar with the file folders and stuff and want to keep it that, this is their analogy for it. Their whole file folder is called S3. Now remember, this is your own file folder in the cloud. Okay, so we're going to go to S3. So you could click on, go to their storage section of their services, or you could type in S3 up here, and it'll be the first thing that pops up. Okay, so you want to go to that service. And when you pop in any service, there's always this thing, and they call this a dashboard. So if I ever say, go to your S3 dashboard, that's the landing page for S3. Okay, so you start getting this terminology down. Okay. All right. So now, and they have some announcements here. They're making some updates to the dashboard, make it look nicer and stuff. And they can give feedback, and sometimes it's just too much. I just want to use my S3 bucket. Now these are S3 buckets that I've been that I've made in the past. Some of you guys that had me last year will recognize some of them for like the Mars 2020 rover. I was making a bucket for to hold stuff. Okay, and we had the space challenge last year and whatnot. And I've done this website a couple times now. Here's my bucket for BITBEAT. Last night when I did it, I wanted to try this before I actually taught it, and it worked. And then this is first period I did it, and it worked. Okay. And so, but I want to do it from scratch for you guys. So we will start from scratch, and I will go into something called Create Bucket. That'll be the first thing that we do. Okay. All right. So if you click on Create Bucket, and it will want your bucket name. Okay. And the first thing that you do, it has to be a unique name. Your bucket can't be anything anyone ever used before. So I take it like this is already taken. Okay. Don't use that, but maybe you put in something like your name, and then maybe you use, like, I use dashes, and then maybe the name of your site. Okay. BITBEAT, and then maybe the year. Now, since I already did this for the last one, it's not unique, and it'll probably tell me if I try to save that. It'll probably tell me it's not unique. Let's try to save that, and see if let's see what it says. There it is. It says I already have that. That's what I used last time. Already exists. Okay, so I'm gonna say 20, 21. Let's say. Let's put CSA. It's sometimes hard to come up with a unique name off CSA. So let's see if anyone ever did that. Okay, now you can go through a bunch of provisioning and see, here's some stuff that we're going to change. We'll change it all later. Don't worry about any of those settings. And I want you to, let me make sure that you guys can see this. Make this bigger. Okay, so I'm now here at Create Bucket. And if I create bucket, it's going to say, did it say that one's already been done? Let me try that again. Oh, look what it says. Bucket name cannot have upper, and I already knew that, but I didn't see my error of my ways. Okay, so you can't have upper letter either. Maybe you guys have already found that. So CSA, so all lowercase, has to be unique. All right. And now I'm going to go to Create Bucket, and now you've created this bucket online. Okay. So it goes back to the dashboard. So you see this is the dashboard. So we went back to it. Paul, do you understand what's going on? You're not. You're losing. I'm losing you. Okay. Just let's be cool. Anyway, so there we go, and you see now I have that new one. Okay, Fitzgerald BITBEAT CSA. I named it that. Okay, that's the name of my bucket. Remember, just the name of a folder. All right, and if you look at now, it'll be the only thing you have in your bucket, so it'd be easy to find. But you'll see that it says bucket and objects are not public, but you know a website is public. Okay. And so you see my other websites are public, but this one says it's not public. So we got to make some changes to this bucket. We've got to put a website in the bucket, number one, okay, or some files to make sure it shows up. And then we got to make it accessible by the public. Okay. So I think right here, Amazon wanted me to ask the question, can someone access your bucket from the internet? Why or why not? And the answer is no, because it is not public. We have to make it public. And a website, same thing. A website, you can put files up there all the time. It's just a file that we allow anonymous people to come in and look at. That's all a website really is. It's no different than the computer you're working on right now. So we have to give it some permission. Okay. So what we're going to do is get to that bucket, and we're going to go ahead and click on the bucket. Okay, so click on it, and there'll be a settings dashboard. I don't know what you call this, an overview piece. Okay, and where we could actually change the settings for this. Okay, and so we're going to go to the properties tag. And if you look in the properties tag, there's I don't know what you call this, a square that says static web hosting. So you could make this bucket a static website. Okay. And remember, static websites, like you're just going to put some files that never change up there. That's maybe give you some information. But remember that word extrapolate I started thinking about, or I told you to start thinking about. What happens in the future? What can I do with a static website personally for myself? If I was in Mr. Hepner's business class and I had to try to make a website for a new product I created, now bells are going off. Like, oh, maybe I can make a website, a static one. Just tells you who we are and how to get a hold of us. You know, won't have any like Amazon cart like action where you could buy stuff, but it could just tell people who you are. And a lot of times now, if you don't have a website, you're almost not a legit company, right? So you could at least put up a legitimate static website. Okay, so this doesn't look like you could if I was to give Amazon any advice, which I shouldn't because I'm not even close to their level, but I would say make this look like you could click on it, because last night I sat there for a while, go, okay, where do you click? You know, but this whole square you can click, the whole thing is a button. So if you click on it, it opens this page. Okay, and it's just very simple. It says, use this bucket to host a website. Oh, okay, I'll do that. And there you go. You got your website. Now, a website, when you land on a web page, including CNN, if you go to CNN.com, the very first page you land on is index.html. I don't know if you ever knew that. So the server, when it serves up pages, it immediately tries to find a page. So it tries to find index.html, index.htm. You could actually cut the L off. I don't know if that's saved any time, but they allowed that. Home.htm, home.html, and there were some other ones they're looking for. But most people now just use index.html. That's their home page. That's their first page it hits. And then Amazon, I don't know, the first time I saw this was through my studies of the AWS, and they use this thing called endpoint. So if I click on this link, the endpoint I'll get to is my website, and this is going to be your web address. So what I want you to do is click this and copy it, okay? And then when you copy that, I want you to go and paste that somewhere because you're going to use it later. Now, you know I put all my notes in Evernote, so I'm going to grab that and I'm going to paste it. This was one I made earlier, and you see how it's changed a little bit. So I could actually put in there period. Oops, I don't want to add to that website. I'm going to put it right here. I'll hit return, put it up here. This is period one's website. And then this is period two's website. So save that somewhere. Save that endpoint somewhere, because you're going to click on it at the end, see if it worked. Hopefully you click on it and it works. Okay, I got lucky, mine worked. Okay, so save it somewhere, text file on your desktop, a Word file, I don't know, Google Doc, save that endpoint. Okay, now I know you're probably doing that right now, so you're probably not watching what I'm gonna do, but maybe you should take a 10-second break and look up. All I'm gonna do is hit save. Okay, all right, and now once I hit save, I have now provisioned that thing to be a static website. Okay, but it's not that easy yet. Okay, so as I told you at the beginning of class, in your Google Classroom, I put some files. I want you to download those files because we are going to upload them to your bucket. Because right now you click on your bucket. In fact, we could do it right now. If I clicked on your bucket, if I clicked on my bucket, you'll see there's nothing in there. In fact, it says 403 forbidden. You're forbidden from this site. You're like, what? I just made it. There's some things you have to do before it actually becomes a website. Okay, the first thing is you actually have to put in. You're actually going to have to put in files into it. Okay, let me find my website here. There it is. Okay, so if I click back to overview, okay, the very first overview, there's a big blue button here called upload. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to upload those files I gave you in your Google Classroom, the index.html, and I think it's bitbeat.png or something like that. Okay, but I'm going to do it right now, so if you want to watch to see how I do it. And some people ask, do I put the whole folder or do I do the zip? Just do the 2 files, okay? So as I'm going to do now. So if I click on that, here is a big add files button. Okay, and you could find the 2 files. Here they are. All right, and I'm going to choose, and there they are. Now they have a bunch of permission settings, and you could click next, 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 and go through them, but we're going to just take all the default, including this one where we're just going to have a standard. Okay, and then hit next, and then hit the big upload. Okay, now as you upload, you're going to see them come into your bucket. So now bitbangers.png, how did I forget that? That was that one file is called bitbangers.png, and this is called index.html. Okay, so they're up there, which is great. All right. And once again, if I go to my permissions, okay, so now we have the file management up there, but if we go to it, still it's going to say it's forbidden. So you're like, hey, the files are up there. I want to see them. Well, it's forbidden. We have to give access to the public. Okay? So in order to do that, we're going to click on permissions. And if you see this right here, it says block public access. So we have that on. We've got to turn that off. So I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to uncheck that. And now make sure you hit save. Last time I didn't hit save. So hit save, and it says, it wants to be sure. Now look, everyone's going to be able to see this. Are you sure? And they want you to make sure you know what you're doing, that you're not just sleepwalking through this, and they actually want you to type confirm. All right, and I'm going to hit confirm. And now it says public access settings updated successfully. But that won't exactly give you... Well, actually, let's check to see if it gives us that. So if I click it now, what does it do? Now it's still denied. Okay, so why is it still denied? Well, there's a bucket policy that they want you to make sure that you put in here. Okay, now this bucket policy I put in your Google Classroom also. Okay, you got to copy and paste it in there. And so I will do that. Actually, I think I put the policy also in my Evernote. Let's see if I could find it. Here is the policy. I will copy this, and I will go ahead and paste it right in there. Okay, now here's the deal. This is JSON, JavaScript object notation, okay? So this is an object that allows your bucket to become public, okay? The only problem that you'll have with this is the name has to go here. Now this is for the one I built last night. Okay, so this is the name of my bucket now. It's Fitzgerald BITBEAT CSA. So I'll copy that and I'll put it right in there. You'll have to do the same. I think in yours I put your name here or something. Make sure that you don't disturb any quotes or commas or anything like that. And once you do that and you hit save, see what you get. Policy is not right. Oh, look at this. I missed the A. See that? I didn't copy the A. So you might have some problems. Remember, it's going to be your fault. All right. Now I hit save. Now this bucket has public access. Yay. Now, I guess the only thing left to do is go to Evernote and click on, not this one, that was an old one. Let's click on the endpoint for period 2, which is this one, and see what I get. There it is. There's my website. Okay, so a static website with an image that says, coming soon, BitBangers, a celebration of sound. Okay, now, so that index.html page is serving up that image. Okay, so now can you extrapolate and start saying, if I could do that with BitBangers, what can I do for my own? And so that will be your extra credit assignment, or your AWS project, was to not just do BitBangers, but make your own website out of this somehow, some way. Okay, now that'll take manipulating that index.html page. Maybe if you know how to do HTML, you could put in some other stuff like CSS and serve it up. And then the last thing I'll challenge you with is, what about that name? Who's going to use that as a name? I can't give people that name. So maybe you have a name. Okay, we have southhillshigh.com. How do I make this be southhillshigh.com? Okay, so you could buy a name, okay, or give someone a tiny URL address to say this is where my website is. Okay, so that'll be something also I'll let you extrapolate, and that'll be a rubric for extra credit to see how far you go. Okay, all right, so that does it. We were successful, and we did it under an hour. We actually have 8 minutes left in class. So I think we did that in about 35 minutes. Create your own website. All right. So I think what I'll do is sign off, and then I'll come back and help anyone that's struggling. So if it works for you already, you are done. Boom. You just created your own web page. Let's extrapolate from here and try and understand what this means. But for now, that does it for this episode. Hope that you enjoyed it. Remember, always trying to make you great and help you innovate. So until next time, that's right, Paul. If you have any questions, you can leave comments below or go to the website at www.themightycodecoder.com or find me on Twitter at mightycodecoder. Thanks for watching.